This is part 3 of the Cedar Adirondack chair and patio set build. If you missed parts 1 or 2, you can click right over here. So far we've covered all the cutting and shaping of the parts, and we've even started some of the assembly. Next come the front legs. Just make sure the cut that I pointed out in part 2 is flat on a level surface. Then clamp the front legs to the seat frame. To make sure both front legs are even, I use the front of the third seat slat as a reference point. After I had the legs clamped in place, I'll pre-drill 3 holes. Countersink and secure with 1 1/4 inch screws. Same thing for the other side. Remove the clamps and attach the lower back support brace. Next, I'll attach what I refer to as the rear legs. Now, mine do not make contact with the ground. However, in some designs they do. Common practice would have them perpendicular to the ground, which would allow for that contact. However, that leaves you having to figure an unknown angled cut at the top in order to attach this upper brace. So I decided to swing the bottom of my legs forward and make them parallel to the seat back in order to eliminate having to figure out what that angle would be. Also, by doing that, it allows me to set the recline of the chair later in the project instead of having to do it now. I'm only going to place 1 screw on the bottom at this stage. More will be added later when I set the angle of the seat back. For the upper back support brace, I'll place it flush on the top of the lower one and mark where the legs are. Now, when I attach it to the top, I'll line the legs up with those marks. The armrest braces I cut from 1x4s, and the length is personal preference. I've seen these extend down the length of the front legs before. It's really up to you. I cut a slight angle on mine in order to stay in step with the overall design. I'll mark from below the armrests where the front leg and brace will be. Then I'll flip it over onto a scrap piece and pre-drill holes inside those marks. The scrap piece is to minimize any major tear out on the top side of the armrest. Then flip it over and countersink from the top. Take it back to the chair, realign those same marks from the bottom, and attach with 1 1/2 inch screws. The second armrest is done the exact same way, only I want to make sure that the overhangs match. To attach the seat slats, I started with the middle one, marking the center of the back support. Then the 2 outside slats. Then I just made sure the rest of the slats were equally spaced. I held off attaching the rear armrest braces until I had the angle of the seat back set to where I wanted it. Set the final screws in the bottom of the rear legs. Attaching the seat slats and cutting this curve was not as simple as laying the slats next to each other on a flat surface and drawing the radius like I showed you in part 2, because that wouldn't take into account the curvature of the seat back. Now, I could have left the back slats as they are and called this done. However, this is where I decided to mark my radius. Remove the seat slats, make the cuts on each piece, sand if I needed to. Reattaching was easy as I already had the reference points. After that, secure the bottom of the back slats. I made 2 chairs, and on one of them I just ran the back slats straight up and down. The other one I attached in the same manner that I just showed you. However, at the bottom I pushed everything together and it gave me a more fanned look. Also, the second one has more of a recline to the back and is a little bit wider. For more information on this, such as a cut list and materials or other DIY projects, you can visit me at simplyeasydiy.com. I'll put a link down below. Also, next time I'll show you how I made this matching table.